Women who cheated on your boyfriend/husband. What happened next? Story 1. I never thought I'd be the type of person to cheat. I've been married to Tom for 8 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but he's always been my rock, steady, kind, and reliable. But I let myself get caught up in something I shouldn't have. It was just supposed to be harmless flirting at first. Kevin, my coworker, was funny and attentive, and he made me feel something I hadn't felt in a long time. I don't know when it crossed the line, but it did. One late night at work turned into another, and then another, until we ended up in a hotel room together. It happened more than once, but in my mind, I kept telling myself it wasn't serious. It was just an escape, a way to feel something again. I swore I'd end it every time, but I never did. I thought I was being careful. Tom worked long hours, and we had a routine. But then one night, everything changed. I came home late, and Tom was sitting at the kitchen table, his face lit by the dull glow of his laptop. He looked up, and there was something in his eyes that I couldn't quite place. I felt a chill run down my spine. "Long night?" he asked, his tone casual but tight. I nodded, muttering something about a late meeting. He just smiled, and for a second I thought everything was fine. But then I saw it, a small, almost imperceptible twitch in his jaw. He knew. I could feel it in my bones, but he didn't say anything. He just got up, kissed me on the cheek, and said he was going to bed. That was a month ago, and since then, Tom has been different, and it's driving me insane. He's being extra nice, like eerily nice. He makes me coffee every morning, leaves little notes in my bag telling me to have a good day, and he's constantly asking if I need anything. He's planning date nights, buying me flowers, and cooking dinner when he never used to. It's like he's trying to prove something, or maybe he's trying to make me feel guilty. I don't know. It's not just the nice gestures, though. It's how he looks at me. It's like he's seeing through me, like he knows everything, but doesn't want to confront it. I've caught him staring at me when he thinks I'm not paying attention, his eyes searching mine as if he's trying to find something he lost. And when I ask him what's wrong, he just smiles and says, "Nothing. I'm just happy to see you." But it doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm being watched and not in a loving way. More like I'm being studied. Every touch feels calculated, every smile feels forced, and every kind gesture feels like it's hiding something darker underneath. I've thought about confessing, just ripping off the Band-Aid and telling him everything. But every time I work up the courage, he does something kind and loving that makes me feel like the worst person in the world. He's been so thoughtful, and I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm terrified of what he'll do when he finally lets his guard down. And then there's the sex. It's been more intense lately. Tom's always been affectionate, but this is different. There's a desperation to it now, like he's trying to claim something or remind me of what I've thrown away. It's passionate, but almost aggressive, like he's trying to prove something to both of us. I can't tell if it's love or anger. Maybe it's both. I've tried talking to him about it, just asking him if he's okay, if there's something on his mind. He always just brushes it off with a smile and says, "I'm great. I'm just trying to make you happy." But his eyes say otherwise. They're darker now, more guarded. It's like he's wearing a mask, and I have no idea what's underneath. The other day, I found an old photo of us from when we first started dating, tucked into my car's glove compartment. I didn't put it there. I don't even remember seeing it in years. It was a picture from our first vacation together. Young, carefree, and so in love. I stared at it for a long time, and I couldn't help but wonder if Tom had left it there on purpose. A reminder of what we used to be? A warning of what I'm about to lose? I don't know. Every day feels like a waiting game. I'm scared to come home, scared to say the wrong thing, scared of what might happen when Tom finally decides he's done being nice. I keep replaying everything in my head, trying to figure out what he knows, how much he's seen, and why he's still here pretending everything is okay. I don't know how this ends. I don't know if he's waiting for me to confess, or if he's planning something I can't even imagine. All I know is that I can't keep living in this limbo, caught between the life I had, the mistakes I made, and the kind, terrifying man I can't quite read anymore. Maybe he's just trying to be a better husband, or maybe he's punishing me in the most excruciating way possible, by being everything I don't deserve. I wish I could go back and undo it all, but now I'm trapped in this nightmare of my own making, and I don't know how to wake up. Story 2. I messed up and lost the best thing I ever had. I still don't know why I did it. Honestly, it feels like it happened to someone else. But I guess that's what alcohol does. It turns you into someone you don't even recognize. I've been replaying that night over and over in my head, trying to figure out what went wrong. But the truth is, I can't change it. And now I've lost the one person who meant everything to me. It was just a regular Friday night with the girls. We went out to our usual spot, a cozy bar downtown where we always end up after a long week. I had been feeling off lately, stressed about work, and honestly, my relationship with Mark had been a bit strained. Nothing serious, just normal couple stuff, you know? Anyway, I decided to let loose and have a few drinks. It started off as harmless fun. We were dancing, laughing, just being our usual selves. And then this guy showed up. He was cute, like really cute, tall, dark hair, that effortless charm that makes you forget how long you've been staring. My friends noticed him too, and they were teasing me, egging me on like, "Oh my God, he's totally checking you out." It was stupid and silly, just girl talk, and I didn't think much of it. But then he came over and started chatting, and I didn't push him away. I don't even remember what we talked about. I was tipsy, no, let's be real, I was drunk. I remember laughing a lot, feeling that rush of attention, and somewhere in my messed up brain, it felt good. I hadn't felt that carefree in forever, and it was like I was in some sort of alternate reality where nothing mattered. We started dancing, and it got flirty, way too flirty, and before I knew it, we were making out in a dark corner of the bar. I swear, I don't even remember the rest. It was like my brain just shut off. One moment we were kissing, and the next I was waking up in his apartment, and my heart dropped. I felt sick literally and emotionally. I grabbed my stuff and bolted out of there like my life depended on it. I didn't even look back. The whole walk home, I kept thinking, what the hell did I just do? I felt so disgusting, like I crossed a line I could never come back from. And worst of all, I thought about Mark and how I just ruined everything we'd built together over something so meaningless. The next day, I told myself it was a one-time thing, a massive, drunken mistake. I didn't even save the guy's number. I just wanted to pretend it never happened. I swore I'd never say a word to anyone. But one of my friends noticed something was off. I must have looked like hell because she kept asking, "Are you okay? You look like you saw a ghost." I brushed her off, but then she kept pushing, and before I knew it, I blurted out that I'd hooked up with someone. I regretted it immediately. I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't even want to admit it to myself. My friend tried to comfort me, saying, "You were drunk. It doesn't mean anything." But that didn't help. It didn't matter if it was a mistake or if I was wasted. I'd still done it. I cheated on Mark, and I couldn't undo it. I thought I could just bury it and move on, but I guess secrets like that have a way of coming out. A week later, Mark found out. I don't know how. I didn't think my friend would ever say anything, but someone must have said something to someone, and it got back to him. I was at home when he showed up, looking pale and furious. He didn't even have to say anything. I knew exactly why he was there. My stomach dropped, and I felt this cold, heavy dread wash over me. "Did you cheat on me?" he asked, his voice low and shaking. I tried to lie at first, but I couldn't. I started crying, and it all came out. The bar, the guy, how I'd been too drunk to think straight. I told him how sorry I was, how it didn't mean anything, and that it would never happen again, but it didn't matter. He just looked at me, hurt and disgusted, and I knew there was no fixing it. Mark packed his things and left that night. I tried to call him, text him, anything, but he blocked me on everything. I sent long, desperate messages apologizing and begging him to talk to me, but he never replied. The last thing he said was, "I can't trust you anymore." That was it. He was gone. It's been months, and I haven't heard from him since. I've tried moving on, but I keep replaying that night over and over, hating myself more every time. I don't even know why I did it. It wasn't worth it, not even close. Mark was everything to me, and I threw it all away for one stupid, drunken mistake. I've deleted every dating app, stopped going out, and even quit drinking because I can't trust myself anymore. I wish I could take it all back, but I can't. I keep hoping that maybe one day, Mark will forgive me, but I know that's just wishful thinking. I don't blame him for leaving. I'd leave me too. All I can do now is live with what I did and try to be better, but it's hard when every day feels like a reminder of what I lost. I screwed up, and I have to live with that. And honestly, it sucks. Story 3. All right, here it goes. This is the story I never thought I'd be telling, but honestly, I just need to get it off my chest. So yeah, I messed up. I know some people are gonna come for me, but whatever. It's my life, and things aren't as black and white as everyone wants them to be. So, my fiancé, let's call him Dave, and I had been together for almost 4 years, and we were just a couple of weeks away from getting married. He's a good guy, but if I'm being real, sometimes I felt like I was settling. I mean, Dave's dependable and sweet, but he's also kind of vanilla. Like, he's that guy who's happy staying in every weekend and playing video games, while I'm the one who still wants to go out and live it up a little. But I convinced myself that love means compromise, right? And it's not like he was bad or anything, just boring sometimes. Anyway, fast forward to my bachelorette weekend in Vegas. My girls planned the whole thing, and I was super excited. I mean, it's your one big, wild night before you tie the knot, right? We were staying at this fancy hotel on the Strip, going all out with the drinks, dancing, the whole 9 yards. It was supposed to be all fun and no drama. So, the first night, we hit this insane club, and I was having the time of my life. Then, this guy caught my eye. Like tall, ridiculously hot, with that kind of bad boy vibe that I'd always been a sucker for. I know, bad idea. But it's my bachelorette, and I'm just thinking, who cares? We're here to have fun. We started talking, and he was all charm and confidence, the total opposite of Dave. He bought me a drink, and it was just harmless flirting at first. But then one thing led to another, and next thing I know, we're on the dance floor, and he's got his hands on my waist, whispering things in my ear that Dave never would. I was pretty buzzed, and honestly, in that moment, I just didn't care. It felt good. I felt wanted in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. Yeah, we ended up back in his room. I won't get into the details, but it happened. I didn't stop it, and I didn't really want to either. It wasn't some big emotional thing. It was just in the moment. Like, I'm not even married yet, and technically it wasn't cheating, right? We hadn't said I do, so no harm, no foul. That's how I rationalized it anyway. The next morning, I woke up with a headache and a pit in my stomach. My girls knew something was up. They could just tell. Lexi, my maid of honor, pulled me aside and was like, "Girl, what happened last night?" I just shrugged it off and said it was no big deal, just a bachelorette fling. She didn't look impressed, but whatever, it's not like I was gonna let one mistake ruin my whole weekend. I got back home, and everything was fine. I didn't feel guilty, just like it was something that happened. And we were moving on. But of course, things couldn't stay that simple. A few days later, one of my friends let something slip in a group chat about our wild Vegas night, and Dave saw it. He didn't know specifics, but he started piecing it together and confronted me. He was furious, calling me names and saying I betrayed him. I mean, dude, relax. It's not like I ran off with the guy. It was one night, one mistake before we were even married. I tried to explain that, but he kept going on about how he couldn't trust me anymore and that he felt humiliated. It was ridiculous. And honestly, part of me thinks he's just jealous. Like he's been insecure ever since we started dating. Always checking my phone, asking who I'm texting, acting like I'm supposed to be locked down. It's like, chill out, dude. If you were a little more confident, maybe I wouldn't have felt so suffocated all the time. Dave decided to call off the wedding, and everyone's acting like I'm the villain of the century. He blocked me on everything, deleted all our photos, and even told his mom about what happened. So now I've got his entire family thinking I'm some kind of monster. It's ridiculous how dramatic he's being about something that happened before we were even officially married. I know I messed up, but it wasn't the end of the world. People make mistakes, and it's not like I was out there looking for it. It just happened. I guess I dodged a bullet, though. If Dave can't handle something like this, maybe he's not the kind of guy I need by my side anyway. So yeah, that's it. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm also not going to beat myself up forever. Sometimes things happen, and you have to keep it moving. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like and subscribe. Wishing you so much luck and joy. Take care, and see you in the next one.